Hello and welcome. This is my lazy tree generator, a geometry node for Blender that is going to generate for you trees. I'm going to explain you all the parameters on the side and all the hidden parameters that are here in the geometry tree. Let's begin, shall we? First example, low poly tree with these bubbles of leaves. And the second one is more realistic with the leaves on planes. Both of them are generated by the same geometry node. First three values here are the dimension of your branches. You are controlling the top part of the tree, and you can make it larger, taller, whatever you like. It's dynamic, so it's changing real time, and it's random, so it's randomizing the shape of your branches. You are controlling this grid size, and you have to imagine this like a cube with a lot of subdivisions, and it's taking random path in it. The more you add detail to the grid, and so we can go like 20 here, the more branches is going to generate. Few branches make a more synthetic shape. You can control this kind of point selection with this parameter that is going to change the shape of your tree. You can play around with this shape. If you have a more randomic value, you can tweak a bit shape, going to prefer diagonal path. This is going to tweak again some more branches. You have chosen a base number with the grid size, but you can always play around with this and tweak a little bit the shape if you're not satisfied. You can go for the radius of the branches, so you can have a big old tree like an oak or a very brand new little tree. It's always changing dynamically, also the position of your leaves, but you have control on them later on the parameters. Now we are going to change the bottom part and go to show you how you can change the trunk. Well, pretty easy. You can change how high is your trunk, and it's always to curve a bit. This is very extreme, but you can also use some parameter that is going to change this very sharp angle. And with these noises, we can restore some straight on our X and Y, so you can play around to have a more regular shape. I can here submerge a bit my part of the branches in the trunk, so I'm always sure that this is a good contact point, and I can get rid of these bad elements. And also I can rotate the branches if I like this particular angle, my trunk. I can then just position my branches along the shape and make them follow the shape of my trunk. Then I can go again on the branches to have some more control after positioning the trunk, and I can go with the scale, so I can like flatten or enlarge the curve on my branches, keeping the shape of them. And I'm going to then give radiuses going to be bigger or smaller, is an old tree or a very young tree. All these parameters with the shapes are also controlled in the hidden tab that I'm showing here. It's just a geometry node page. You can have this schematic, and I made a box for you that are the curves that are controlling something in your shaping of the tree. The first shaping of the tree is the branch shape. This means that I can enlarge or make it very thin when this curve is going to represent this kind of trim of the shape of my tree. So I'm going to make a subdivision in my grid, and this subdivision is going to take just a part of the grid, and I can do some pretty strange shape. As you can see now, both of them are going to change because this is a parameter that is inside the geometry node. You have to make a copy if you want to go with the hidden parameter, because I can't show these curves inside my parameters on the side. Second things, on the branches is the shape of the actual single branch. I can show you better if I'm going to delete for now the leaves, and you can see that this shape is modulated, like it's thinner here, is going to enlarge and then go thin again, and this is because I'm using this as a profile of my branch, so I can make it more and more custom. Now we are going to work on the trunk with the curves, and I'm going to enlarge or shrink the area and the values that the trunk is taking for the torsion that is controlled by these two trunk noise parameters. But this is a tweaking. They are modulated with this curve. So I can go very crazy, like the default option, or I can go very crazy on the bottom, or just try to have this just in the middle, and so I have a more regular shape. And also I can profile the trunk, so I can have large, I can have this shrinking just on the top, or very regular shrink, or a very big top area where I can intersect my branches easily, quite controllable. For the last parameter, I have to restore my leaves. So I'm going here, leaves shape, and I'm selecting the collection for my leaves. Now I can show you that this is a control for the scale in the actual portions of my tree for my leaves. They can go bigger or larger, smaller as the curve is changing. So it's modulating also this actual shape of the tree. These two are just the selection things, and in my geometry node you have not to change the material. This is quite an easier way to use the geometry node, because it's going to export for you the UV map without any change, just showing you the correct UV map for your material. And for the leaf shape, it's just picking a collection in my scene, and I have an object that is going to be attached randomly on the faces of my branches. This is also possible to have another geometry node that is generating branches that are going to be attached to my branches and so on. So you can use every object you like. The leaf density is just to have a bigger or smaller population for my leaves, so I can make it more dense or less dense. And I can also not like the position of my leaves, so I can just take this seed and play around to have the better option and go for. So you have this randomized shape that is going to take for my leaves. And also for the scale, I have another seed that is going to change the random scaling that is always modulated at this little curve. Other thing that I can control is the leaves position. I can make them grow more on the top, the branches, or like all the way to the bottom. And so I can adapt these random generated leaves to the shape that I get to my branches. And then I can have also an option to make my final model a low poly or high poly and show the actual angles that are in the shape. I can go down to have less detailed model, or I can go up to have a better detailed model. And I can also go with the smooth shade. This is not having the smooth shade, and for example this is having the smooth shade. They are exactly the same material, so you can see that this is taking this low poly style action path. You can also go with a lot of detail. Well, I think that's it, and I showed you all the features for this geometry node. I hope you like it. If you like it, you can take them from Gumroad, and I hope soon on other platforms. Thank you for watching.